Hey guys, this is Colin Warren, and welcome to my How to Find a Vocalist for Your Track video, in which I'll go over 5 or 6 tips that worked for me in finding various people to sing on my tracks that you can feel free to use in your given productions where if you're anything like myself, you have like a 90% done track, and you're like, yeah, it's awesome, I just need someone to sing on it, and I'm not sure if I want to sing myself. So I'll give you a bunch of tips, which range from everything from low vocal scale but high effort costs in finding a vocalist to all the way to 0 effort, 100% works every time, or I should say 99% of the time, because can't count for everything. And I'll just tell you all the tactics that have worked for me in this range and how hard it's been, or the success rate of getting vocals on the track using each of these tactics. So the first one that worked for me, but took a lot of effort in regards to effort, not so much the kind of circular reasoning there, but not so much, it didn't take as much effort in regards to skill, is just cold emailing people. And really, I guess the best way to do this, so you're not spending too long sending out emails, is to find small YouTube, SoundCloud, music release channels that have producers, or small-time producers that have vocalists on them. Just take a list, put down, like copy and paste the vocalists that you like, maybe onto a spreadsheet. Put those, once you have the name corrected, put them all into like Google, find their page, and then shoot them an email saying, hey, so-and-so liked your track with this, so-and-so is looking for someone kind of a similar vocal style. For my track, here's my track if you're interested. And I had to send about at least a couple dozen, if not 3 dozen tracks before I finally got somebody to sing on. One of mine doing it that way, so it does work. It takes way too much effort, and it's very hit or miss. And if you're really looking to make tracks, this is definitely you may end up spending as long trying to find a vocalist as actually making the track. So this is not at least my highest suggested way to do it, but it does work. So that's one option. The second option, this one is definitely a lot easier, low skill, but I guess buyer beware, is you can take your track, and I swear I did this, and you can post it to Craigslist, and when you post it to Craigslist, you can say, hey, dance track looking for a vocalist, and then say, hey, here's the track, if you like the track, send me reference samples of you singing. And then, at least for me, I got not too bad. It was like 3 or 4 vocalists who sent me in stuff, and one wasn't the greatest lyric writer. At least I didn't know at the time, because this is actually, I think, the first vocalist I ever collaborated with. But yeah, she sent in something. She could hold a note pretty well. Lyric writing, now I look back on it, was so-so, but it does work. And that's another option if you're interested in going down the sketchier route. So the third option that works for me in finding vocalists is to just make a lot of producer friends, and then when they collaborate with vocalists, try to jack them from them. I made a bunch of producer friends off of places like Layback Luke forums and everything, and yeah, then a couple of them ended up, at least one of them specifically is definitely very active in going out and seeking vocalists, so he's collaborated with a few guys. So when he found at least a couple guys that were really good, I said, hey, really liked this guy's voice, do you know if he's open for other collaborations? And then that producer acted as the middleman, got it set up, got vocals, and I didn't have to sing any of them, so it was great. So that's another option. Just make lots of producer friends in the hopes of using all of them for vocalists, the things we do to get people to sing on our tracks. Fourth way to get vocalists lyrics on your track, this one will require some more skill, but it's going to require you singing exclusively, is to learn songwriting, or at least learn lyric writing, and then record like a vocal idea and then send it off to different vocalists. This one I found is probably the best balance of skill to effort ratio, if you want to put it that way. So the first thing you obviously have to do is learn how to lyric write. I have a resource down below, I think linked to a Coursera course that was really good. I think by some professor from Berklee, I'm forgetting, but I think it's like Guide to Better Songwriting, or if you put songwriting and Coursera into Google, you should find it. It should be a white guy, curly hair. like half of these professors, so it's not specific. But yeah, so once you learn lyric writing, you can go to your track and you'll be like, okay, won't necessarily be the best vocals to begin with, but you record some vocal ideas, given that EDM isn't a place where you have guys like like John Lennon coming out writing just these masterful storytelling pieces. As long as you write something that rhymes and is somewhat decent, you can send those around to different vocalists, and as long as you have like pretty solid melodies backing it, you can get vocalists who are willing to say, hey, you've already done the hard part for me, now I can just pop a mic open and sing into it and it's good to go. So how I did this tactic was, again, I went to the Coursera course, took it, wrote a song, and then wrote the lyrics for it, and then I was looking for, okay, I kind of want I was looking for like an Adam Levine kind of guy. That's the style, or Adam Lambert, I forget which last name I'm switching out here. But pretty much I went, okay, I have this vocal idea, I want a vocalist of this timbre, so I just put Adam Levine covers, for instance, or just songs that he's sung that have covers of them, and then you just go down YouTube, you find, okay, there's a bunch of different these vocalists here, and then you just pick your favorite 3 or 4, shoot them an email saying, hey, really like your style, I have this track, I've already written the vocals for it, here's a rough idea, obviously don't sing it as terribly as I did, and I'm interested in knowing if you'd be interested in collaborating together on this one. Took about 3 or 4 emails. Eventually, I did get a guy collaborating on my track. He did just an insane job, pretty much fit the timbre I was looking for. So this is a great tactic that you can use if you not only want to have vocals, but if you have like a very specific type of vocalist you're looking for, you can, just sit down, write the lyrics, and look for covers on YouTube that for people who have who've sung songs by the vocalists that you're kind of looking to go for, and then center your thing, and then send them about 3 or 4 times, and that should work out no problem, just as long as the vocals are good, which is, I'm sure, a very big asterisk. And finally, of course, the almost no sure-fail way of getting vocals on your track is just to sing them yourselves. And I know, as a fellow producer out there, I was definitely one of those guys who's like, nah, I cannot stand the sound of my own voice. Not only when I'm talking, but when I'm singing, God, don't even play me that. So you definitely, you definitely go down this route. I would highly suggest getting some vocalist friends who you can bounce these ideas off of, or your vocal ideas off of, because it's really hard to stay objective when you're listening to your own voice singing, if you're anything like myself. I think some of the Beatle guys or something like that had similar complaints about singing, is that they can't quite sound the sound of their own voice. So it's good to know. It's not just you and myself that are struggling with it, but a lot of people who are very self-conscious of the timbre of their mouths. So the best way, I would say, to go about learning singing is, again, I can only speak for what worked for me. You can really just go and bite the bullet, get a singing coach, because they'll teach you everything from, breath control, how to stand correctly, where to place your vowels, your words, how to hold your head and everything. Because you can try self-learning it, and I'm sure I know people who do, but really, from a lot of online research, I've looked around, just because I was like, I really want to master this skill, even if it's just kind of mediocrely. A lot of research saying, hey, even though you can kind of self-learn it, it's better to get a vocal coach, because they can tell you because when you're starting out, you're obviously going to have incorrect techniques, so you have someone standing off telling you, these are the things you tweak, and then they're just going to hone that in until you're sick of it. So I think if you're interested in getting down the singing route, at least the tactic that's worked for me, is just get a singing coach for like 1 quarter or a few weeks. Or maybe not a few weeks, but you want to get like a 3 or 4 month, 2 or 3, possibly 4 month like immersion where you get into singing. And then once you get the fundamentals down, then you can start watching your YouTube videos and just start practicing and honing your craft from there. So if that's for that 1% of you who I know is watching this, that's like feeling just a little bit less self-conscious enough to jump in the vocals route, that's the route I would suggest. That's the one that's worked for me, and I guess it's now what's allowing me to sing it on my own tracks, albeit with a fair amount of autotune. So don't hold me to that. I guess then as a bonus tip, kind of staying on the topic of singing it yourself, even if you don't have a great voice, you don't even have any voice, one thing I found that's worked really well before I took singing lessons, but I wanted to sing on my own tracks, is if you just is using the power of autotune and then vocoding. So the tactic here is, okay, you sing your idea into a vocoder. Make sure to pronounce the words really well, because these next few steps you'll want to make sure your syllables are intact as you do these adjustments. So you're singing your camera, or I guess you can sing in your camera, but I'm not sure how the MP3 to MP4 audio conversion will work. But sing into your microphone, probably the better way to do it. And then take that audio, which I'm sure just gonna be all of them. You set them all to one note. So let's say, okay, I'm singing a song in F minor, and my notes are kind of bumbling around that general range. I'll set all my notes to just the F key, and then at least I'll take like new tone or melodyne, and just set all the notes on the same, or I'll sing all my singing on the same note. So I'll just take all the blocks and just set them there, balance out the vibrato so it's more or less even, and then once you've done that, you put it into a vocoder, and then you can play melodies, do some crazy linking with that, and then you can actually play the notes you want to sing without actually having to sing them yourself. It actually sounds pretty cool, if I'm not gonna lie. Granted, it's gonna sound a lot more artificial, but you figure, okay, as we're not great singers, you can either do some auto-tuning and then just sound crazy artificial, which is definitely one timbre that can work, or you can just say, you know what, I'm going to embrace it. You take your elements, set them all to the same note, or after you sing it, and then you just vocode it with different chords, and then you can play harmonies and everything. You don't have to worry about, okay, do you have the ear training to be able to sing multiple notes within your track by just listening to it. So those are my 6 tips for getting vocals on your track. Hopefully this helped. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to like, subscribe. If you want to help me pay for college, got some Udemy courses you can check out down below, where I teach topics from everything from making tracks like Martin Garrix, how to make your first EDM track from scratch by making a track, and other tutorials like that. So with that, hopefully these tactics work. Go out, try a bunch. Tell me in the comments down below which ones have worked for you. Maybe some I didn't cover. With that, have a great day, guys. Keep making some kick-ass tracks.